because space is a constraint. I'm putting too many. Yeah, I hope you don't mind my poor aesthetics. I will need time, nothing else. I'm aware of it, but the PowerPoint requires a lot of time. PowerPoint for the cosmetics. If you want to do a quick and easy job, then it's quite a good tool. But then all this, it's all the box by box we have to go and sit. That's where Excel scores over PowerPoint. Now, this is what I have done. I put it as optional. Let me walk you through before. Please bear with the poor cosmetics. That's not what I want it to be. But in the short time, I could only do that much. I've removed all the WBS identifiers because it was cluttering the slide. Now, I hope you can see the order processing system. Of course, it's incomplete. I hope you, let me put it this way, then I don't want you to partial, okay. Okay, partial means it's work in progress. Okay, please, don't say that the trainer flashed it and I'm presenting. This is work in process. This is a demo slide for you to get started, right? Yeah, see, I was looking at the hardware. Thank you very much for that. Hardware I put here optional. See, why I'm telling you it's okay. Very good. Let me answer that question. The hardware optional I put it here because in planning you want to do it or not, because the question doesn't ask you to go give you the entire WBS, right, for this OPS. It says until 2 levels or 3 levels. That's why I put hardware optional. But when I see, if you see the hardware here, planning I put optional, but here initiate procurement I have put hardware. It should not confuse you. Now, when I say optional, if you want to choose to put it, you put it in some boxes. In some other boxes, if you don't put it, doesn't matter. Why? The question clearly tells you that it's 2 levels only. So you could have had it in the 3rd level or 4th level also. There's no hard and fast rule. You can put the hardware in the 5th level also. That's how you design. It's your creative work. So that's why I put the hardware optional for you to be able to map it. That if some of you feel you don't want to put it, it's okay not to put in here, or you can put it here and here and take it out here and leave it to your flexibility, okay? And why, when I saw the question again, see, I had to revisit the question, that they are mentioning hardware. So that's why I put in here, but if you choose to take it away, you will not be penalized for that. I didn't get your points. Exercise specified, define the WBA in at least 2 levels, yes. At least 2 levels, correct. Not 2 levels, at least 2 levels, not 2. No, you can make it 3 levels, 4 levels. Am I getting your point? I don't know. Yeah, the question says at least 2 levels. That means level 0 and level 1. That will be too shallow. Take out the level 0 because that's scope. Anyway, you have to put it. So level 0, level 1, level 2. Make it that way. At least. Yeah. I hope this addresses many of your questions. So this what I have done here. Let me explain this to you. Wait, what is comment? Okay, thank you very much for that feedback. So if you look at it, see, some of this is, I have not removed the original template that I shared for the monthly transaction system. So if you look at this planning, develop design, develop code, initiate procurement, test integration, I said before the break, I said this is already 10%. So that will remain, and that's correct. Yeah, and then if you look at it, I retain some of the boxes from the previous example, because how different can do different softwares be? The previous one was also a software system. It was not something different. So scope and WBS, we are getting into the planning components. I'm just putting 2 of the, I'm not putting risk here, I'm not putting quality here. So you see, I just selected 1 or 2 here. You can choose to select different areas also. But scope, please definitely select scope and WBS as the starting point. After the project chapter, you always start only with scope and WBS. You don't start with risk or quality or procurement. And then underneath scope and WBS, you see we have put software. I've just put hardware optional. If you want to put it, you put it. Otherwise, it can be incomplete. Doesn't matter. The database, if you want to put it, because any order processing system should have a database. And as Mr. Who said, as Mr. Ip said, right? Some of you don't have application background. That's what I get to know. So if you can't relate to a database, just remember now in this class, I'm telling you that generally when you are doing an e-commerce application or order processing, there's always data. That data gets stored in a database, and which is different from software. That's why I put it as two different boxes. Now, if you look at beneath software, just for an example, I put B2B, B2C. You can, if you want to choose it under hardware, you can put it under database also, doesn't matter. For a sample, I have given you B2B, B2C. If you put the sample, that is enough. I am not going to say you have to put it in database, hardware. That can be assumed. I will assume it. Yeah. The idea is that you are mentioning it is B2B, B2C. Again, understand this is not a complete operation project, live project WBS. This is an academic partial WBS. Okay, now I didn't change any of these developed design. From my original example, I left it there, leave it there. I just wanted you to understand where this inventory stocking, provide quotations, generate invoice, generate delivery, these are given in a question. Right? I want you to be able to relate to the question. That's why I have put it under software application and the developed code. This can come under developed design. This child level can come under developed design. It can come also under planning. You can put B2B, B2C first and then put the modules. Or if you look at this here, I put the reverse way around. There is no hard and fast rule. You can choose to do inventory design first, code first, and then within inventory stocking, you can put a B2B separate module, B2C separate module. Or you can swap it also, like what I have done here. If you look at software and under planning, I put the B2B, B2C first, just for you to be able to appreciate the difference. Which is right, which is wrong, both are right, both are right, that's it. It's the way the designer, the solution architect, or the WBS creator, the project team, how they map it out. That's what is important. It's like a piece of art. Different artists will approach their artwork differently. So that's the way it is. That's the best analogy I can give you. Now let me stop. Any questions here? I got some chat messages. Let me look at the chat message. If I look at the chat message, it will block your view. That is why I don't generally open it. But give me a minute. Okay, is this clear? Anyone has any questions? Please respond. Thank you very much. If you don't respond, I'm talking to my computer. Say yes, no, okay, repeat. Yeah, go ahead.
For the solution that you provided, right? The WPS is based on process.
Correct.
And there is another version of WPS that's based on deliverables.
Correct.
So if I present my answer in deliverables, will you mark as wrong?
I will not mark it as wrong.
You will not mark it as wrong.
I said this is the preferred method.
This is the preferred method.
I wanted you to understand the difference between deliverable oriented breakdown and work related breakdown.
Yeah, because
I'll tell you, Jason, explain to you why I chose to give you focus on work related. Is if you put it as a work related breakdown, you can easily allocate each of these work items to some individual or teams. But when you put a deliverable oriented, that deliverable may have a Java component, Python component, and maybe some hardware component. It becomes very difficult for you to allocate to the teams because the teams are profiled by their ability to work. They have
Yeah.
some skill set. That is the reason.
But at the package, right, there is always an identification number, correct? At
Sorry,
one point,
come again. Come again. Sorry, I could hear that.
Each work package, right? You
Yes.
have this number,
Yeah.
like 1.1.1 and 1.
Correct.
You
Correct.
can use those numbers to assign to maybe the task to someone. And then the one thing good about deliverables is that we can do status report easy to the customer.
Yes. 100% correct. Not only status report, estimation, cost estimation,
Yeah.
schedule, status report. When you do a status report, when you do monitoring and control every month, after third month, fourth month, fifth month, when you're going and giving a project performance report to the sponsors, so what you will do, the project manager will ask all the responsible teams who have been allocated tasks to give, they will generally update it on a constant basis in a database. All that the project manager will do is run a report from the database, project performance database, and roll it up to the sponsor.
Yeah, so because if you do a deliverable types of WPS, right, the status report is much easier to see because it's based on deliverables. Whereas you do on process, it's very hard to try. I mean, you need a separate reporting mechanism.
Each one has its advantages.
Yeah, that's right. So I have to redo.
If you want to do, this is the product breakdown. That's why I gave you the examples of both. In
Yeah,
this, there's no
one.
one.
First, the example of both. That's why I chose to do the deliverables.
Go ahead. It's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But okay. That's all. Thank you.
This is the easier one. That's why I wanted you to do the difficult one. Going by my original logic. Now I will leave the choice to you. Whatever you are comfortable with, please go ahead and do it. That's for the class entirely, not to one.